This Explain Everything video is about ordering fractions. Just before I get into that, young people, a quick reminder: not allowed to use calculators, won't be able to use them in the assessment, so don't use them here. Try and do it without that. Please remember to use YouTube and Google. If you are stuck, go to Google, write in the keywords ordering fractions. You'll be amazed how much information there is. Use the IXL resources. You've got your username and password, and please go to the Ultranet page. Use that. There are resources on there as well, references on there. You must be a regular visitor to Ultranet, and please use those resources to your advantage. This is a screenshot of the Ultranet page, and you can see at the top right there, we are ordering fractions. Our learning intentions are to order fractions. Our success criteria: we can order fractions from smallest to largest using either a number line or equivalent fractions. Don't look at the page references there. Unfortunately, they are incorrect, and your IXL references are there. Also some Khan Academy and Maths is Fun, and those are useful and interesting resources. Young people, don't ignore them, use them. This is page 93 of the Alpha textbook, and reading from the top, you can see my black arrow there on the left. Any number line can be split up into equal lengths to show fractions. We normally just show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 integers, but we can use it for fractions as well. Each space on this number line represents 1/4 the number line below, so it goes from 0, quarter, 2/4, or 2/4, 3/4, 1, 5/4, 6/4, 7/4, 2, and so it carries on. If you think of your ruler, that is actually a number line that has been divided into fractions. 1 centimeter has 10 millimeters, so every little mark on your ruler is 1 millimeter is 1/10 of a centimeter, 2 millimeters, 2/10, 3/10, a half, or 5/10 when you get to the middle, and so it carries on. This is exercise 7.03. Please do questions 1, 3 and 5 and get a copy of the textbook in class so that you're able to mark your work. Please do questions 3 and 5 and make sure that you mark your work. Sometimes to order fractions we have to compare their sizes, and so this is where equivalent fractions actually come in again, and we've done that section. So this is an important section and important to understand ordering fractions. So you read this box here: 2 fractions are easily compared for size when they have the same denominator. For example, 3/5 of a cake is clearly more than 2/5 of the same cake, and you can see it visually drawn there. However, if you're asked to find out which of the following fractions are bigger, 2/3 of a cake or 3/4 of a cake, that's not quite as easy to be able to answer that. So you have to solve that problem by so the technique we use is to create equivalent fractions, but to create equivalent fractions with the same denominator. Once we've done that, easy as, you can easily compare which of those fractions is bigger, and you can see the strategy there. The answer is to divide each cake into 12 pieces, and then you can decide exactly which is bigger. So 2/3 over the denominator 12, an equivalent fraction for 2/3 is 8/12, and you can see the strategy of how to do it, and we've done that in class. And 3/4 as an equivalent fraction over the denominator 12 is actually 9/12. So when you do it like that, how beautiful. 8/12, but 3/4 is 9/12. So immediately you see that 3/4 is bigger than 2/3, and so you've used your equivalent fractions, and you've used your knowledge of putting fractions over the same denominator. Down there in the dark blue box, to compare fractions with different denominators, you have to convert them to equivalent fractions with the lowest common denominator. and we've done that strategy in class. Here's an example. Which of the fractions is the larger, 4/7 or 3/5? And you could guess you'd have one chance out of two of being correct, but that's not the point. The point is to know the correct answer and to show one's working, of course. So, referring to the previous slide, the lowest common multiple of 7 and 5, you multiply those together. Remember, multiples is just the multiplication tables, effectively. So 7 and 5 is 35. And just have a look down there. You see the strategy. Multiply 4/7, top and bottom, by 5. 3/5, multiply top and bottom by 7. And an equivalent fraction for 4/7 is 20/35. Equivalent fraction for 3/5 is 21/35. Now you can see immediately which is the bigger fraction, and you see that 3/5 is bigger than 4/7. If you are unclear about how that strategy works, please don't go past this. Google this section of work, how to calculate lowest common multiples of fractions, or please do ask me, do come and see me. Here is another example of the kind of work you are going to have to do when you order fractions. You will be asked to order fractions in an ascending order or a descending order. And the way to remember this, way that I use, is when Sir Ed Hillary went up Mount Everest, he ascended, with an A, ascended Mount Everest. When he came down, he descended, with a D, descended Mount Everest. So ascending order is from the bottom to the top, or from smallest to biggest. Descending order is from top to bottom, or from the biggest to the smallest. And there is a strategy, and it's shown you in this blue box. So you have to find, of the fractions 2/3, 3/5, and 3/4, you have to find the lowest common denominator that those three numbers will divide into, and that number is 60. So that is very important. Now drop down in that blue box and you can see 2/3 put over a common denominator of 60 means that you have to multiply top and bottom by 20, so you get 40/60. To get 3/5 over a common denominator of 60, you have to multiply top and bottom by 12. To get 3/4 over a common denominator, and remember these are equivalent fractions, they've not changed at all, you have to multiply top and bottom of 3/4 by 15. Once you've done that, and those fractions are all over the denominator of 60, you can immediately see which is the biggest, which is the smallest, and you can arrange it in the order that you've been asked to. So, in ascending order means from the smallest to the biggest, and you can see the answer there. 36/60 is the smallest of those three fractions, followed by 40/60, followed by 45/60. So you can arrange those fractions in 3/5, 2/3, and 3/4. Have a go at this exercise 5E. Read the question very, very, very carefully. They say, write the original fraction in order of size from large to small. So that is descending order from biggest to smallest. So what you have to do is you have to put those fractions over a common denominator, and then you are able, once you've done that, a common denominator gives you equivalent fractions, and then you'd be able to say which of those fractions are the bigger. So I'll put the answers one or two slides further along, so once you've done these, you can mark your own work. This is from a different textbook. For practice, have a go at question 2.3.2. Read the question very carefully. Write the following fractions in ascending order. That'll mean from smallest to biggest. Going from smallest to biggest. Be very careful always to read your question. Otherwise, if you do it the wrong way around, it's wrong. These are the answers from exercise 5E. And just to remember, 1A, the answers there. That sign to the right is saying that 3/4 is greater than 2/3. It's a sign that you'll encounter throughout your mathematics career. 4/7 is greater than 5/9. 2/7 is greater than 1/4.